Welcome aboard, shipmates. Let's go over all 18 ships and their strengths and weaknesses. Thank you to Kalypso Media for the free game. Now, the first 7 are going to be what I call trader ships. They're basically the ships that we will find when you attack the trade convoys. At number 1, we have the Sloop. This is a very weak, very early game trader ship, and there's really no point in using this one at all. Number 2 is the Schooner. After you become level 5, I think this ship really becomes almost impossible to find. Like the Sloop, this one also is very, very weak, and it only has 1 offensive slot and 1 defensive slot. Number 3 is the Fluyt. This is the Dutch spelling for flute. This is a really good ship for early game in my opinion. It has a decent crew size, decent boarding strength, good armor, good health, and 350 cargo capacity. When you look into your hold, the way that you can hold all of this stuff is with your cargo, and so having this Fluyt here with 350 cargo right off the bat is very good. It has 2 offensive, 2 defensive, and 2 support slots. Also note that I removed all the upgrades just so that we can have a baseline for all stats on all ships. Number 4, we have the Trader's Fluyt. This is exactly like the Fluyt, but it's bigger and better. It has a little bit more boarding strength, a lot more cargo capacity, more armor health, and then has 3 support slots. Now, this is what I recommend you use for early game until you get better ships that we talk about in a minute. Also, if you have multiple captains in your fleet, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can have 3 ships per captain. So I recommend capturing a trader Fluyt for each captain just because it increases your hold to this. I have a ton of cargo and I really never have to deposit it because I never run out. Number 5 is the Brig. Brig is the ship that you start out with. It's basic boarding strength, basic cargo. It's really just basic everything. You can already tell that between this and the 2 Fluyts that the Fluyts are ideally better. Number 6 is the Barque. Now, it's exactly like the Brig in most ways, but it has a extra support slot, but minus 1 offensive slot from the Brig. Then when you fight against pirates, you have a chance that they have a pirate barque, which is almost the same thing, but you have a little extra boarding strength, and then you have 3 offensive slots as a pirate. The next few ships are really going to be military convoy ships. So number 8, we have the Frigate. This has really good boarding strength, decent cargo, good armor, low health, but it has 3 offensive, 2 defensive, and 2 support slots. Number 9 is the military frigate. Almost the same thing as the frigate in every way, but it has more armor, more health, and another offensive slot and another support slot. Number 10 is the Corvette. From the frigate and the military frigate, you can see that the maneuverability is at a 2, and really the Corvette is at a 3, but other than that, and it's not as good because it only has 1 offensive slot. Number 11 is the military Corvette. It's almost the same thing as the Corvette, but it has just a little extra boost in everything. A little armor, a little health, a little boarding strength, a little cargo. You can see that it has some extra defensive slots, but minus a support slot. Number 12 is the Caravel. We're going to start hitting our tankier ships now. So this has more cargo, some good boarding strength, and then some decent armor and health. And then of course we have a staggering 3 offensive slot, 4 defensive slot, and 4 support slot. Number 13 is the Carrack. This bad boy is definitely a punisher, if you will. It has really high armor, decent health, good boarding strength, good cargo, and it's got 2 cannons per deck and a swivel cannon. Of course, that's with the 4 offensive, 3 defensive, and 3 support. So this is definitely a good overall decent ship for destroying ships. Now, it does have low maneuverability, but in my opinion, maneuverability does not account for much on this game. It is turn-based, so really if you strategize correctly, you shouldn't have an issue with speed. Number 14 is the Queen Anne. This is going to be very similar to the Carrack, where it's got good armor, good cargo, good boarding strength, and then of course it has the 2 cannon decks on each side, just like the Carrack, with 4 offensive, 3 defensive, and 3 support. You might be wondering what really is the difference, and I'm just going to come down and say that it's the cargo. And you can have a little extra crew on the Queen Anne. Number 15 is Ship of the Line, and this might be one of my favorite ones. Now, the one I have here only has 1 cannon per deck, but there's actually other Ship of the Lines that give you 2 cannons per deck. So ignoring that, this Ship of the Line also has the capability of having more cannons. It's got 4 offensive and 4 defensive slots with 3 support. And there is an achievement to where when you equip all of these with the highest level 5 upgrades that you get an achievement. And then of course you can see the armor is really good, good health, good cargo, and 150 crew. Next we're going to take a look at what I call pirate hunter ships, and these are really only found late game whenever you have 5 or 6 captains and your strength is really high. Number 16 is the infamous Galleon. This has decent armor, decent health, good cargo, good boarding strength, decent crew size, 3 offensive, 2 defensive, and 4 support. Number 17 is the Pirate Galleon. This is basically like the Galleon, but you have higher boarding strength for capturing ships. You also get 4 offensive instead of 3, 2 defensive, and then 3 support instead of 4. So you're really more offensive with the Pirate Galleon. At number 18, we have the War Galleon. This has 2 cannons on each deck. We have 4 offensive slots, 4 defensive slots with some extra health. Now, since it's more war-based, it's got 4 offensive, 4 defensive, and then only 2 support. If you're having trouble defeating these tougher ships, check out this video right here to learn how to defeat multiple enemies.